welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Marc Braet of Intix. We're at EBA Day 2016 in Milan and we're discussing developments in the payments industry. Marc, thank you for joining me. So Marc, what would you say are some of the key data management challenges in the payments industry today?
Well, I think what's very clear nowadays is that there has been many innovations in the payments industry in terms of new means of exchanging payments. I mean, we're looking nowadays at real-time payments. There has been SEPA in the past, things like ABICs, new ways of exchanging payments across networks to the other financial institutions in the industry. What this is creating is actually just many different formats and structures in which people or banks are exchanging the data, also creating the data silos within the banks, and as such also with this complexity of growing volumes, different kind of formats, different kind of structures, different kind of channels, it's increasing the complexity for banks to deal with that data if you actually want to get the value out of the data. Because what we have understood is that definitely in the context of compliance, but also in the knowing your customer, understanding your customer, banks actually have a need to get, let's say, the intelligibility out of the data. And they don't have the tools nowadays to address that.
So how can banks address these challenges?
Well, banks, as we all know, have, let's say, many legacy systems in place, are not the most agile players in the industry. And we believe that today's fintech companies can add a lot of value to that. There is many innovative technology used, of course, by these fintechs in open source components, very agile way of dealing with that, and also able to fast deliver, so ensuring a fast time to market for these players, these banks, and at the same time also offering a very fast return on investment. And we believe that there is an opportunity for banks to take the leverage or the benefit of these fintechs in order to address their challenges.
Okay. So if we take the discussion a little more broad, what do you think are the key drivers of innovation in the banking industry at the moment?
Well, to my personal opinion, I'm actually a little bit surprised or maybe disappointed if you look a few years back and you look at the financial crisis that we all know kicked in 2008. Not a lot of innovation happened as a result of that crisis. I mean, banks had, of course, to restructure and reorganize and that kind of things in order to make sure that the crisis wouldn't happen again. But there was no innovation in place to say, let's make sure that we are going to do things much better, much more efficient and so on. But let's say 2 years ago, banks were confronted with new entrants into the financial market, the disruptive fintechs. And what we've seen now is that there is like call it almost a panic mode, where banks are saying, well, now we have to spend a lot of money in order to make sure that we are going to protect ourselves against these disruptive fintechs. So it's a bit late because we all know that these fintechs are much more agile than the banks. So the way that today this is being addressed, in my opinion, is not the right way. I believe that today it's more panic mode than really having a vision into innovation towards the future. So my idea would rather be that banks should better evolve into a mode of collaboration with fintechs. And of course you have two types of fintechs. You have the disruptive fintechs, the more, let's say, collaborative fintechs. But we believe that there is actually value in working together so that in the end, banks can offer to their end customers a better service, which in the end will also generate business profit for them. So the win-win is definitely something that they could achieve.
And do you think that's what's likely to happen with the fintech story going forward?
It's a difficult one because what of course you see is banks still have this idea of we can do that ourselves, but at the same time, if we take the analogy with a ship, a bank is like a very large cruise ship and we are like the very agile, fast-moving sailboat that can turn around quickly. So I believe that if banks do not move into the collaboration mode with the fintech industry, that in the end they might be bypassed, and in the end, as what is happening now also in the context of, for example, PSD2, banks might be reduced to just back office of the new entrants who are actually offering today customer-facing solutions.
Marc, that was great. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.